Hello everyone, welcome back to Naruto Fix. Today we have another interesting what if Naruto story. Which is what if Naruto, Hinata, and Sakura were sent to another world together. Part 1. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Now, without wasting any time, let's begin. The battlefield was supposed to be quiet. The war was over. Peace had returned. And yet, something felt wrong. Naruto Uzumaki stood at the edge of the forest, staring into the distance, his expression unusually serious, as if he could feel something no one else could. Behind him, Hinata Hyuga stepped forward slowly. Naruto-kun, what is it? Naruto didn't answer immediately. I don't know. A pause. But something's coming. From the side, Sakura Haruno crossed her arms. Another enemy. After everything. Naruto shook his head slightly. This feels different. And then, the air changed. Not violently. Not like an attack. But like reality itself. Shifted. The ground beneath them cracked. Not breaking. But distorting. What is that? Sakura stepped back slightly. Hinata activated her Byakugan instantly. I can't see through it. That alone was terrifying. Because nothing had ever blocked her vision like that. Naruto stepped forward. Stay behind me. The distortion grew. Spreading. Twisting. Then suddenly, it pulled. A force. Invisible. Unavoidable. Naruto. Sakura shouted. But it was too late. All three of them were dragged into it. Light consumed everything. Silence. Naruto's eyes snapped open. He sat up quickly. The sky was different. Purple. Endless. Unnatural. Where are we? He muttered. Beside him, Hinata slowly opened her eyes. Naruto-kun. And Sakura groaned slightly, sitting up. My head, what just happened? They looked around. And froze. Because this wasn't the shinobi world. No forests. No villages. Just vast, empty land. With floating structures in the sky. And energy in the air. That didn't feel like chakra. Naruto stood up slowly. This isn't our world. Sakura's eyes widened. You're saying, we got transported. Quote. Hinata looked around carefully, her Byakugan active again. This energy, it's completely different. Naruto clenched his fist slightly. Then we find out where we are. But before they could move, a voice echoed. Foreign entities detected. All three froze. Because the voice didn't come from one direction. It came from everywhere. Energy type, unknown. Classification, anomaly. Sakura stepped closer to Naruto. I don't like this. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Yeah. Me neither. And then, they appeared. Figures. Not human. Not shinobi. Humanoid. But made of pure energy. Glowing. Watching. Hinata whispered. There. Not alive. But not dead either. Naruto stepped forward. Who are you? The figures didn't respond normally. Intruders identified. A pause. Elimination required. Naruto sighed lightly. Of course it is. Sakura cracked her knuckles. Looks like we're fighting already. Hinata stepped beside them. I'll support. And just like that, a new battle began. Not in their world. Not with familiar enemies. But in a place where even chakra didn't belong. Naruto smirked slightly. Hey, new world, huh? His eyes sharpened. Then let's survive it. Because whatever this place was, it wasn't welcoming. And something told them, this was just the beginning. The moment those energy beings declared them intruders, the air around them shifted violently, like the world itself had locked onto their presence, and Naruto Uzumaki stepped forward without hesitation, his instincts kicking in instantly as he formed a shadow clone. Stay sharp, he said, his voice steady, because even though this world was unknown, a fight was something he understood, and Sakura Haruno moved beside him, her chakra already focused into her fists. They don't feel human at all, she said, her eyes locked on the glowing figures. while Hinata Hyuga activated her Byakugan fully. Scanning them again, but her expression tightened. I still can't see their internal structure, it's like they're made of pure energy, and that alone made this fight different from anything they had faced before, because there was nothing to target, nothing to read, and before they could analyze. Further, the figures moved, not fast in the usual sense, but instant, appearing around them in a perfect circle, cutting off every escape route, and Naruto reacted immediately. Too slow. He shouted as his clones spread out, intercepting the incoming attacks, but the moment contact was made, his clone nest destabilized, breaking apart as if their chakra was being disrupted. What? Naruto's eyes widened slightly, and Sakura stepped in instantly, landing a powerful punch on one of the entities, but instead of being damaged, it flickered and reformed instantly, unaffected. That should have crushed it, she said, surprised, and Hinata moved quickly, striking with gentle fist, targeting what should have been chakra points. But her attack passed through without effect. It's not working, she said, stepping back, and Naruto clicked his tongue. So physical attacks don't work, and chakra does. And hit them properly either, and that meant one thing. They were fighting something that didn't follow the rules of their world at all, and the entities responded again, their voices echoing together, in effective resistance, confirming anomaly status, and in the next instant, they attacked again. This time more aggressively, beams of energy firing toward them, forcing Naruto to grab both Sakura and Hinata, jumping back just in time as the ground behind them vanished completely, not destroyed, but erased, leaving nothing behind. Okay, that's bad, Sakura muttered, and Naruto set him down quickly, his expression serious now. Really bad, because now they understood. This wasn't just a fight they could win with strength alone, and Hinata looked around quickly, her Byakugan scanning the battlefield again, searching desperately for something, anything they could use. Wait, she said suddenly, and both Naruto and Sakura looked at her. Their energy, it's not random, it's connected, she continued, like they're part of a single system. Naruto's eyes sharpened instantly, so they're not separate enemies. And Hinata nodded, more like extensions of something bigger, and that changed everything, because that meant defeating them individually might not matter at all. And Sakura stepped forward slightly, thinking quickly. Then we don't focus on them, she said. We find the source. Naruto grinned slightly. Now that sounds like a plan, but before they could act on it, the entities reacted again, their formation tightening, their attacks becoming more precise, more coordinated, as if they had already adapted to their strategy. Target analysis updated, they echoed, and Naruto sighed lightly. Man, they learn fast, but his eyes remained sharp, focused, because even in an unknown world, one thing never changed. There was always a weakness, and as he looked around, sensing the strange energy flowing through the air, he clenched his fist slightly. All right, he said. If they're part of a system, and Sakura stepped beside him, finishing his thought, then breaking the system breaks them. Hinata nodded, but we have to find it first, and Naruto smirked slightly. Then let's go hunting, and in the next moment, all three of them moved. Not to fight the entities directly, but to escape their formation, to search for the core behind them, dodging attacks, adapting quickly, working together like always, but this time in a world where nothing followed their rules. And as they moved across the strange landscape, the entities followed, relentless, precise, unyielding, and far above them, hidden beyond their sight, something watched, something far greater than the beings they were fighting, something that had already noticed their presence. Unexpected variables, a deeper voice echoed, calm and observing, interesting, and as Naruto, Sakura, and Hinata pushed forward, searching for answers in a world that didn't belong to them, one thing became clear. This wasn't just a random transport, this was a system, a controlled world, and they had just become part of it. Naruto, Sakura, and Hinata moved fast across the strange terrain, their footsteps barely making sound on the unnatural ground as the glowing entities chased them relentlessly, never slowing, never hesitating, and Naruto Uzumaki glanced back mid-run, his eyes sharp as he created a few shadow clones. Oh, intercept, keep moving, he shouted, and the clones turned to engage, buying him a few seconds, but just like before, the moment the entities made contact, the clones flickered and vanished, their chakra destabilized instantly. Still not working, Naruto muttered, frustration creeping in. Whi. La Sakura Haruno kept pace beside him, her mind racing faster than her movements. Then stop wasting chakra on them, she said. We focus on finding the source. And Hinata Hyuga, running slightly ahead now, kept her Byakugan active, scanning deeper, further than before, ignoring the entities and focusing on the flow of that strange energy surrounding everything. Wait, I see something, she called out, and both Naruto and Sakura immediately shifted direction toward her. It's faint, but there's a central flow, everything is connected to it. Naruto's expression sharpened instantly. That's our target, he said, and without slowing down, they changed their path completely, no longer just escaping, but heading straight toward the origin of the system, and the moment they did, the entities reacted differently, their movements becoming more aggressive, faster, as if they had realized what Naruto and the others were trying to do. Core breach attempt detected, they echoed, and suddenly, the attacks intensified, beams of energy firing more rapidly, forcing Naruto to grab Sakura again and dodge midair while Hinata narrowly avoided another strike, the ground beneath them disappearing in sections as the attacks erased parts of the terrain. They're trying to stop us from reaching it, Sakura shouted, and Naruto grinned slightly despite the danger. Good, that means we're on the right track. And Hinata pushed herself harder, focusing her vision deeper, ignoring the strain in her eyes. It's ahead, just a little further, she said, and Naruto nodded. Then we break through. And in the next moment, he stopped running and turned, facing the incoming entities directly, his chakra flurry ng as he formed multiple clones again, but this time not to attack, but to block, to intercept, to create a wall between them and Hinata's path. Go, he shouted, and Sakura didn't hesitate, grabbing Hinata's arm and pulling her forward. Don't fall behind. While Naruto's clones spread out, absorbing the attacks, sacrificing themselves to create an opening, and for a moment, it worked, the path cleared just enough, and Hinata pointed ahead. There, she said, and they saw it, a floating structure, barely visible, pulsing with that same unnatural energy. Why? Like a core holding everything together, and Naruto's eyes widened slightly. So that's it. But before they could reach it, the air shifted again, heavier than before, and all the entities suddenly stopped, freezing in place, their forms flickering as if receiving a new command, and a deeper voice echoed across the entire space, far more powerful than before. Enough, and Naruto's expression tightened instantly. That's not one of them, he said, and slowly, in front of the core, something new began to form, larger, more defined, its presence overwhelming compared to the others, and Hinata's Byakugan trembled slightly as she tried to look at it. This one, it's different. And Sakura stepped forward beside Naruto, her fists tightening. So that's the one controlling everything, and the new entity fully appeared, its form more stable, more complete, and its voice echoed clearly. Intruders have exceeded acceptable parameters, and Naruto smirked slightly, stepping forward. Yeah, we get that a lot, but his eyes were serious, because he could feel it now. This was the real enemy, the one behind everything, and unlike the others, this one wasn't just reacting. It was thin. King, and as the battlefield fell silent, the smaller entities retreating slightly as if making way, Naruto clenched his fist, his chakra rising once more. All right, he said quietly, now we're getting somewhere, because this time, they weren't fighting mindless extensions anymore, they were ing the source itself, and the real battle was about to begin. The air around the core grew unbearably heavy as the newly formed entity stepped forward, its presence far more stable, far more aware than the others, and Naruto Uzumaki instinctively moved slightly ahead of the others, his body tense. Ready, because even without understanding this world, he could feel it. This one was different, this one mattered, so you're the boss. Huh. Naruto said, his tone light but his eyes serious, and the entity didn't react immediately, instead observing them in silence, as if analyzing every detail. Every movement, every trace of chakra they carried, foreign energy confirmed, incompatible, it finally said, its voice calm yet heavy, and Sakura Haruno stepped beside Naruto, her fists tightening. Yeah, well, we're not leaving quietly, she replied, while Hinata Hyuga kept her Byakugan locked onto the entity. Even though the strain was visible now, Naruto-kun, its energy is concentrated. It's the center of everything, she said, confirming what they already suspected, and Naruto nodded slightly. Then we take it down, he said without hesitation, and for a moment, the entity simply watched them, unmoving, before responding, outcome, predetermined, and Naruto smirked faintly, yeah. We'll see about that. And without waiting, he moved first, rushing forward with a burst of speed, his chakra flaring as he aimed a direct strike, not at its body, but at the core of its presence. But the moment he got close, the space shifted, not like before, not a dodge, but a rewrite, Naruto's attack stopping mid-motion as if the action itself had been cancelled, and his eyes widened slightly. What? Exclamation mark quote. And in the next instant, he was pushed back, not by force, but by something else, like the world itself rejecting his movement, and Sakura reacted immediately, jumping in with a powerful punch from another angle, but the same thing happened, her strike never connected, her motion halted before impact, and she landed back, frustrated, it's stopping the attack before it happens. And Hinata stepped forward slightly, her voice tense, it's not reacting, it's deciding, and that realization hit hard, because this enemy wasn't just defending. It was controlling the outcome before it even occurred. And the entity spoke again, your actions are invalid, and Naruto clenched his fist, his expression hardening, yeah, I don't like that, because now it was clear, this wasn't something they could hit normally, not something they could overwhelm with speed or power, and Sakura exhaled sharply, forcing herself to think. Then we don't give it a single action to cancel, she said, and Naruto glanced at her, what do you mean? And Sakura's eyes sharpened, we attack in layers, multiple actions at once. Hinata nodded slightly, understanding, if it can stop one, it may not stop all. And Naruto grinned slightly, hey, sounds like our kind of plan, and without another word, they moved again, but this time differently, Naruto creating multiple clones, each attacking at slightly different timings, Sakura striking from unpredictable angles, and Hinata supporting by disrupting the entity's perception with rapid gentle fist movements, not to damage, but to interfere, and for the first time, the entity reacted differently, its form flickering slightly as it processed multiple simultaneous actions. Conflict detected, it said, and Naruto's eyes lit up. There we go. But even then, it wasn't enough, because within seconds, the entity adapted, its movements stabilizing again as it began canceling multiple actions at once. Adjustment complete, it said, and Naruto landed back, exhaling slightly. Man, this thing's annoying, but his eyes remained sharp. Focus. Because even though it adapted, there was a moment, a tiny delay, a fraction of time where it struggled, and Sakura noticed it too. It's not instant, she said, and Hinata added quietly, there's a gap, and Naruto's grin returned, this time sharper, more confident. Then we hit that gap. 'Cause now they had something. A weakness, small, but real, and as the entity stood before them, calm, calculating, preparing its next response, Naruto cracked his knuckles slightly. All right, he said, now we're getting serious, because this time, they weren't just testing it anymore. They were street arting to understand it, and that meant the fight was finally turning in their favor. The tension sharpened instantly the moment they realized there was a gap, even if it was just a fraction of a second, because in a fight like this, that tiny window meant everything, and Naruto Uzumaki stepped forward again, his chakra rising in a more controlled way now. No wasted energy, no unnecessary moves. All right, we don't rush, he said, his voice steady, we force that delay, and Sakura Haruno nodded immediately, her eyes locked on the entity. We pressure it until it slips. While Hinata Hyuga focused even harder, her Byakugan straining as she tracked the exact moment of instability. I'll call it out, she said, and for a brief second, everything went still again, not because they hesitated, but because they were preparing, synchronizing their timing not perfectly, but deliberately imperfect. And then, Naruto moved, not with overwhelming speed, but with intent, sending in clones first, not to attack directly, but to trigger the entity's response, forcing it to start canceling actions, and just as expected, the entity reacted instantly, its voice echoing, invalid, as the clones vanished mid-motion, but Sakura followed immediately, her strike coming in slightly off timing, forcing a second reaction, and Hinata stepped in next, her gentle fist disrupting the flow, not landing damage, but creating interference, and for a moment, the entity began processing multiple actions again. Its form flickering, conflict, increasing, it said, and Naruto's eyes sharpened, because this was it, the build-up, the moment before the gap appeared, and Hinata's voice rang out, sharp and clear, now. And Naruto moved instantly, not hesitating for even a second, his body accelerating forward as he concentrated all his chakra into a single point, not multiple actions, not layered attacks, just one decisive strike, and this time, it connected, his fist crashing into the entity's core, not passing through, not stopping mid-motion, but landing fully, and the impact sent a shockwave across the strange world, the core behind the entity flickering violently as cracks spread across its structure. Error. The entity's voice broke for the first time, unstable, distorted, and Naruto grinned slightly, got you. But he didn't stop there, because he knew, one hit wouldn't be enough, and Sakura followed instantly, her punch landing next, reinforcing the damage, pushing the cracks further, while Hinata stepped in again, targeting the destabilized points, amplifying the effect, and for the first time, the entity staggered, its form losing cohesion, its control over the surrounding system weakening as the smaller entities flickered and froze in place, and Naruto stepped back slightly, breathing heavy. Now but still smiling. Now that's what I'm talking about. But even as the advantage appeared, something changed again. The core behind the entity pulsed violently, brighter, stronger, and Sakura's expression shifted instantly. Wait, it's not breaking, and Hinata's eyes widened slightly. It's stabilizing itself, and Naruto's smile faded just a bit. Of course it is, because this enemy didn't just take damage. It adapted, evolved, and in the next moment, the cracks began to close slowly, the entity's form stabilizing again, but not the same as before. Stronger, more defined, more resistant. Adaptation, complete, it said, its voice returning to calm, but heavier than before, and Naruto exhaled slowly, his expression returning to focus. Yeah, I figured, but his eyes didn't show fear, only determination, because now they knew something for sure. They could hit it, they could damage it, they could break through its control, and that meant one thing, it wasn't unbeatable, and Naruto stepped forward again, his chakra rising once more. Then we just keep doing it, he said, and Sakura smirked slightly, until it can't keep up, while Hinata nodded. We just need to be FA. Streeter than its adaptation, and the entity stood before them again, stable, watching, learning, but now, it wasn't completely in control anymore, because for the first time since they arrived in this world, Naruto, Sakura, and Hinata had proven something. They could fight back. And actually make a difference. The moment the entity stabilized again, the entire space around them seemed to breathe. Slow, heavy, unnatural, as if the world itself was recalibrating after taking damage, and Naruto Uzumaki stood there for a brief second, watching carefully, not rushing this time, not throwing himself forward blindly like he normally would, because now he understood something important. This enemy wasn't about strength alone, it was about timing, precision, and forcing mistakes, and his eyes narrowed slightly as he exhaled. It's stronger now, he said quietly, and Sakura Haruno nodded, her gaze sharp. RP, analytical, yeah, it reinforced itself after taking damage, while Hinata Hyuga kept her Byakugan locked onto the core behind the entity. Even though the strain was becoming more visible with each passing second, its energy flow has changed. It's more stable, but also more concentrated, she said, and Naruto clenched his fist slightly. So we made it tougher, he muttered, and Sakura crossed her arms briefly, thinking quickly. We forced it to evolve, which means it had to change, she corrected, and Naruto glanced at her, meaning. And Sakura's eyes sharpened, meaning it's not perfect, it's adjusting, and that small distinction mattered, because anything that had to adjust, could make mistakes, and Naruto's grin returned, faint but confident. Then we push it again, he said, because now this wasn't just a fight. It was a loop, a cycle of pressure and adaptation, and they had to stay ahead of it, and the entity, standing before them, didn't move immediately, but its presence shifted slightly, as if it was analyzing them more deeply now, not just their actions, but their intentions, their patterns, their potential variables. Evolving, it said, its voice calm but more focused than before, and Naruto tilted his head slightly. Hey, same goes for us, and in the next moment, everything moved again, but differently, not as fast, not as chaotic, this time more controlled, more deliberate. Naruto sending in a smile. Number of clones, not to overwhelm, but to probe, to test the new state of the entity, and just as expected, the clones were cancelled again, but not as cleanly as before. There was a slight delay, a fraction longer than earlier, and Naruto's eyes sharpened instantly. It slowed down, he said. And Sakura nodded, because it's processing more complex variables now, while Hinata added, it's focusing more on stability, less on speed, and that was it. That was the trade-off. The more it reinforced itself, the slower its reaction became, and Naruto grinned slightly. Then we break it from the inside, he said, and Sakura blinked slightly. Inside. And Naruto pointed toward the core behind the entity. That thing, it's the source, right? And Hinata nodded immediately. Yes, everything connects to it. And Naruto's expression sharpened. Then we stop fighting it, and go for that. And that changed the entire approach, because instead of engaging the entity directly, they would target the system behind it, and Sakura understood instantly. We distract it, while one of us reaches the core, and Hinata added, but it will prioritize defending it. And Naruto smirked. Good. That means it'll focus on us. And without another word, the plan formed naturally. No long discussion, no hesitation, because they trusted each other completely, and in the next second, Naruto moved first, charging straight at the entity again, his chakra flaring, his clones following, forcing it to react, and just as expected, the entity shifted its attention entirely toward him, canceling actions, blocking movements, focusing everything on stopping his advance. Threat prioritization, Naruto Uzumaki, it said, and Naruto laughed lightly. Yeah, I get it. But behind that, Sakura mov. Ed. Low and fast, circling around, her movements precise, calculated, avoiding direct engagement, while Hinata stayed back just enough to maintain vision, guiding Sakura's path. Left side, there's a gap, Hinata called out, and Sakura adjusted instantly, moving through the opening, getting closer to the core with every step, and Naruto continued pushing forward, not trying to land a decisive hit, but forcing constant reactions, constant processing. Come on, keep looking at me, he muttered, and the entity did exactly that. Its focus locked onto him, its responses centered on his actions, and for a moment, the plan worked perfectly. Sakura reached the edge of the core's influence, her eyes widening slightly as she saw it up close. A pulsating structure of pure energy, constantly shifting, constantly feeding the entire system. I'm at the core, she shouted, and Naruto's eyes lit up. It. But the moment Sakura prepared to strike, the entity reacted, instantly shifting its priority, its form appearing between her and the core, blocking her completely. Core protection, absolute, it said, and Sakura clicked her tongue. Of course. She didn't stop. She attacked anyway, her punch aimed directly at the core through the entity, and this time, the entity didn't cancel the action, it took it, its form distorting as it absorbed the impact to protect the core behind it, and Naruto's eyes widened slightly. Wait, because that was different. It chose defense over cancellation, and that meant one thing, and Hinata realized it instantly. Naruto-kun, it can't do both at the same time. And Naruto's grin returned, wider this time, sharper. So that's the limit, he said, because if it focused on protecting the core, it couldn't cancel actions elsewhere as effectively, and if it cancelled actions, the core became vulnerable, and that was the opening they needed. And Naruto surged forward again, faster this time, more aggressive, forcing it to choose, to split its focus, to make a decision it couldn't perfectly optimize. And for the first time, the entity hesitated, just for a fraction of a second, but that was enough, and Sakura saw it, felt it, her eyes sharpening as she pulled back slightly, preparing everything into one single strike. Naruto, one more, she called out, and Naruto didn't hesitate, pouring everything into his next move, not multiple actions, not distractions, just one overwhelming push, forcing the entity's full attention onto him, and as it reacted, as it focused, as it committed, Sakura moved, her punch launching forward with every thing she had, aimed directly at the core, and this time, there was nothing left to stop it.